Am I gonna be friend zoned here? Hello, Romas. This is Aromie here. Welcome back to Random Race Hollywood. I don't know how to feel right now. I just feel helpless that we can't really help Markus. Again? Hadn't I been staring at the graveyard this whole time? Unsure of how much time had passed, I glanced around the circle. Everyone had disappeared, Andre and all of the Golgotha. Markus was the only person left. He stared at me when I turned towards him, an unreadable expression on his face. Are you okay, Markus? I legit saw what he saw. It's like in my dream. For several long enduring moments, Markus said nothing. Silence drifted past us, and as I began to wonder if he'd even heard my question. Why, I've never felt better in my life. A slow smirk stretched over his lips. Are you sure? Are you lying to me, or are you just saying that? It looked much like the smirk I'd gotten so used to seeing. The one he greeted me with the first thing. But great balls of fire, I remember now why I stopped parking in these maniacs' anonymous meetings. That sensation sinking into deep, all-consuming darkness, a dream within a dream. Certainly not my idea of an enjoyable evening. Did you see the mirror too? Mirror. Yes, I saw a mirror. Not for very long, however. I was soon whisked away to a different place, far beyond the darkness. The fuck was that sound? After nudging a broken gravestone with its boot, Markus stepped closer to me. A smile stayed in place on his features, matching the theatrical cadence that had returned to his voice. Instead of being taken somewhere within my own mind, I witnessed something inside you. Did you? Because I saw whatever you saw. Or, well, I've witnessed you, basically. His last words came in a soft, drawn-out breath. Something deep and dark, a thing I don't dare give voice to. Yet, when I faced it, I realized I was no longer afraid. Indeed, I felt we were already well acquainted, this thing and I. How do you know it was inside me? I'm guessing you won't tell me what it was. I saw something dark inside you too, Markus. I didn't see something dark, I just saw something very sad, but okay. I know you did. His expression didn't betray any shame or alarm. However, let us leave it at that. What you saw already said enough. But the way it ended, I just want to know, are those really your fears? Alright, I understand. But the way it ended didn't end properly to me. That is how it was meant to end. What? You're just being stopped at the end of the corner while everyone's against you? I don't want that. Leave it at that. No! He repeated his words firmly, but not bitterly. My observation hadn't seemed to bother him, though. I could tell he wanted to move on. It's hard to process everything I saw. But has anything changed inside you? Can you feed again? Should I distract him with another, question or something? Can you feed again? That's difficult for me to say. After the visions I just witnessed, I haven't much of an appetite. But I suppose I'll discover what has changed soon enough. How do you feel, Michiko? Better, since I know you're better? So disoriented. I'm sure, to be honest. I'm alright, I think. I'm better because you're better. Instead of offering a strict reply, Markus stepped forward. His long arms curled around me. Oh, hug! Squeezing me so hard against his lanky frame that it started to hurt. Hug you! I get a hug. Thank you, Michiko. Am I gonna be friend zoned here? Thank you for accompanying me. It was sort of a strange, awkward hug, but I could sense the emotions overflowing behind it. Even if his face didn't betray much on the surface, Markus was dealing with something inside him, something that he didn't seem to understand himself. Al, you're going to break something? Fuck no, hug him back tighter. When I squeezed against his bony chest, Markus rested a hand on top of my head. I felt him gently stroking my hair, the touch of his fingertips light as a butterfly. Something about the gesture felt unusually affectionate, at least for Markus. No one can compete Randall though. Randall gave us so much hugs, so much love. I believe the time approaches us for us to depart. Already we've spent too long in this place. My skin tingles with 1,000 pinpricks. After stepping back, he glanced around the graveyard, grimacing faintly. I don't know why he doesn't like the graveyard. Maybe because the meditation? I don't think he wants to talk about it though. Agreed, let's get out of here. Come then. Let us ferry ourselves home before we both become flambéed by the sun. Oh, Markus. We left the cemetery without any eventful encounters, walking side by side. It was almost time for the sun to rise, so Marcus and I parted ways on the street. He took a separate cab back to his shop. But even though Marcus seemed less grim than before, I wasn't sure whether to feel relieved or worried. Tonight's conclusion was, well, what was the conclusion? If his strange condition wasn't healed, had our visit to the graveyard been pointless? And those things I'd seen inside him, inside me, it was such a bizarre feeling to process. I don't think it was a wasted time, because we got to see those visions. Even by the time I settled into bed, my head was still reeling with the surreal aura of that night, and the last thing I'd seen through Marcus's eyes. I was gonna say hello, black screen. A faint drip echoed from somewhere inside the garage. It filled my ears as I walked along. My thoughts drifted absently. Why am I here? Am I dropping off a bomb again? Yeah, I am. Okay. I was on my way back from my last mission. Charisse had sent me to blow up an old storage facility. Some upstart vampire and a scar who defected to Randall's side was using the place to hide weapons. She sent me out alone, so I had... What should I pick? What? It blew up. It blew up. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter what choice I picked because they both came at me anyway, the vampires. I planted explosives like she'd asked. When I'd safely escaped the building, a satisfying boom echoed inside the facility, which started to crumble down. Now I was on my way back to the hotel, taking a shortcut through the parking garage. With any luck, I'd arrive with time to spare and had the rest of the night to myself. But of course that's not gonna happen. Maybe. A few weeks had passed since the night at the graveyard with Marcus. I had a lot of more free time recently as Charisse was preoccupied. The murderers suddenly picked up again. For some reason, Lazar was slaughtering vampires more and more, hunting them with renewed vengeance, and we kept getting reports of half-eaten bodies in the sewers. So when I wasn't watching Charisse tear her hair out in frustration, I kept my eyes open for Marcus, who I hadn't seen since our last meeting. He didn't contact me either. No visits, no notes, not even a phone call. It was like he'd vanished. Apparently nobody else had seen him either. Blood and Roses was locked up. The sign was always for reading closed. And yet somehow I had the distinct feeling Marcus was still around. I didn't know what he was waiting for, but when he was finally ready, I knew he'd appear again. The garage was unnervingly quiet. All I could hear was the sound of my own footsteps and the droning hum of fluorescent lights overhead. I never figured out who kept these lights on, or if some electrical company had just never bothered to shut them off. Somewhere far above me, thunder rumbled outside, announcing a storm that might have already arrived. Just another calm night as a vampire in Hollywood. As I approached the staircase that would lead me outside, something made me freeze. I felt a presence nearby. It was approaching me from the staircase and from above. Pull out my weapons! I hadn't left the hotel defenseless. Charisse had insisted I bring along my knife and handgun. I quickly pulled them from my jacket. A moment later, a different rumble started to echo from above. The sound of a car engine. This wasn't a chance encounter or a friendly visit. I was being ambushed. Well, here's the ambush. Over there, get her. She's probably trying to run away, just like I said she would. How am I supposed to run away when I didn't feel a threat at first? So I was just casually chilling. The stairway door flew open, letting out a group that rushed towards me. Almost simultaneously, a large black car pulled around the corner, angling itself to block my path. Within seconds, I found myself being surrounded, but almost all of the presences I felt weren't vampires. They were humans. Wait! We want to talk to her first. Two figures pushed through the group, swaggering towards me. Something about the woman seemed strangely familiar. No, she was definitely familiar. I'd seen her in the hotel lobby, angrily shouting at the desk clerk. She must have been on Ascari. I recognized the man too from Marcus's shop, one of the Mavar who'd attacked him. So, are you here to kill me? Yeah, we're here to get rid of the fucking problem. We're ready to go back to how things were before you showed your ugly face here. The Mavar snarled eagerly at me, almost salivating like a mad dog. We're not going to kill you, though. Flashing me a delighted smirk, the Ascari motioned to the group surrounding me. These guys, they're hunters, and we made a deal with them to hand you over. They're really interested in all the juicy vampire secrets you know about, and they're gonna have a great time dragging them out of you. Why are you targeting me? Are you joking? She's definitely joking. God, I hope so. She let out a sharp laugh, rolling her eyes in disgust. This chick and I, normally we hate each other's guts, but we hate your fucking guts even more, even if she doesn't hate you for the right reasons. The two exchanged glances, returning their hateful stares to me at a moment later. You act like you're working with Charisse, don't you? But you just treat your job like it's whatever. You don't appreciate it. I mean, it is whatever. I was forced into it. Getting to work with her is a privilege. Some of us try for years to get her attention. Huh, maybe she's ignoring you because you're a bitch. You fucking little... Listen, who cares? She's gonna be dead by the end of the night because karma's a bitch. As if on cue, the hunters impatiently shifted around me, muttering to themselves. From what it sounds like, they were going to force me along in the car nearby. I'm so tired of y'all. Come on, let's get this shit over with. I want to hear her squirm. Agreed. Go on, humans. Take her already. Shoot this Scar. Shoot the Mavar. I have one last question to accept my fate. Who do I hate more? Probably the Mavar, because they fucked up my mans. But he has a bigger gun than me. She's armless. Shoot the Mavar. Grabbing my pistol, lifted it towards the Mavar. Wait, the fuck are you? Oh. Oops. I didn't really think... I thought he would have faster reaction. I guess not. My bullet tore through his chest, making him stumble back. Every hunter instantly leveled their guns at my head. I could smell as much eagerness as fear, and I couldn't tell which one of them would squeeze the trigger. The next moment, right as I blinked, suddenly the Mavar's head was gone. The only thing left was an empty, bleeding stump. A circular saw blade lay on the ground, just past his body, next to his severed head. The girl shrieked, stumbling back from the Mavar's corpse. A second huge blade whizzed past, slicing one of the hunter's arms in half. Where is it coming from? I don't... Shit, no, please! Within seconds, chaos and panic shriek filled the garage. Everywhere I looked, blood splattered the floor. Limbs and chunks of flesh falling in red pools. All the hunters were wildly firing their guns, trying to hit the unseen attacker. One of them turned to run, racing for the exit, until a saw blade gored through his back, toppling him to the ground. I'm not rescuing anybody. Knowing to be the next victim, I dived behind an old car in a bar, cuddling to the ground. All around me, I heard the hunter's panic scream, abruptly cut off by wet slicing sounds. Whatever the attacker was, it wasn't showing them any mercy. It's Lazarus, right? Coming to my rescue. The bloodbath didn't take much longer to finish. Before long, all the hunters were dead, their bodies littering the concrete. The only vampire who escaped was Iskari. She dashed away as fast as her legs could take her, disappearing around the corner and not looking back. As her footsteps faded away, I was left alone again, surrounded by a sea of mangled corpse. But in the eerie, too peaceful silence that followed, I heard the stairway door open and close. Now I'm running away. No one took any chances to turn tail and sped away. I'd already escaped death once. Somehow, no point toying with it again. I don't know if I should have kept that Ascaria alive, because now she might tell Charisse. But then if she tells Charisse is going to be like, why the fuck were you trying to kill my girl? So, whatever. When I reached the street, I hailed the nearest cab I could find. Some flecks of blood, both the hunters and vampires from the smell of it, had landed on my face and clothes. The taxi driver gave me a funny look, but he didn't seem as freaked out as he probably should have been. Maybe it wasn't the first time it's the first time seeing a passenger like me. Probably think I'm like, background character 10. By the time I reached the hotel, I felt a little more composed. It was difficult to process what happened, both for me and the hotel clerk, who stared at me open-mouthed as I arrived. Miss Luck would like to speak with you on the phone. Alright. After quickly dialing up a number, the clerk handed me the receiver. On the second ring, a voice picked up. Hey Chico, is that you? What on earth happened? You should have been back some time ago. I heard a touch of worry in her voice. I was just having a nice chat with some fans. Fans? What? Oh, for heavens, go on, just tell me everything. As Teresa's frustrated command, I explained what had happened in the parking garage. She listened silently, and I could almost hear the deep crease knitting on her brow. When I finally finished, she led alongside, the following clink. Probably Charisse taking off her glasses. You seem to have this remarkable talent for attracting the worst sort of attention. If one of your attackers escaped, I have no doubt the news will spread like wildfire, so be prepared for any rumors drifting about. And the individual who rescued you is nearly just as worrying. Have you any idea who it was? I'm not sure, but they seem incredibly strong. It certainly sounds that way. Slaughtering a group of hunters is no easy task, even for powerful vampires. She exhaled another sigh, sounding as resigned as she did confused. Well, regardless of your mystery savior, you'll have to be on high alert from now on, Michiko. I doubt most of LA's vampires feel so passionately about you, but after tonight, we can't ignore the possibility. I'm not afraid of them. I'll keep speaking my mind. That's quite a noble sentiment, but something of a selfish one, don't you think? After all, I'd assume that there are people who care about you, like Markus. Does he? He's disappeared again. Surely he wouldn't want you to gamble with your life for no reason. After clearing her throat pointedly, Cherise paused for a moment. I'm out of the city right now on business, but I'll be back at the hotel tomorrow. We'll discuss things further then. Do try and stay alive until I've returned. I don't go down that easily. I should hope not. See to it that you continue that trend. With that, she abruptly hung up. I handed the phone back to the anxious-looking clerk who offered me a temporary change of clothes. Again. Man, you have so many clothes in the little drawer there. By the time I gotten the blood off my face and hair, there was still a few hours until sunrise. I had time to venture out into the city again if I felt brave enough. Wow, if I felt brave enough, well, I'm saving here. I'm pretty sure there's no point in me going to Blood and Roses because he's not there, but I always want to check anyway just to show that I am sincere about Markus and I always want to go see him. Anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful and I'll see you guys in the next one.